Well, with another edition for Georgia Prep Sports Academy Sports Channel, I'm here today, Tyrone Tate, the athletic director, with Coach Carson. And certainly, Coach Carson has some very interesting, exciting news to talk about today based on the diligent work that he's done with the program. And Coach Carson, you got news today of something that certainly we'd like to begin to thank the organization for what they have done, and just like you to share it with our audience today.
Well, we actually received a check in the mail over the weekend from Morgan Stanley financial group here in Atlanta. And it's a financial advisory firm, and we've been in a relationship with those guys for over the last 3 years, to where one of their advisors, Walter Siff, actually works for them as an advisor, and he's also on our advisory board. And we had an opportunity to spend some time with Graham Roberts, Jason Pace, and Walter this past year at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, and hung out with them the whole week there. And Graham, who's the executive director here in Atlanta, wanted to do something special for our program. And just last week we received a check for $10,000 from Morgan Stanley in support of our program. And I want to personally thank Graham Roberts, Jason Pace, and Walter Siff for believing in what we're doing in terms of trying to impact kids' lives and give these kids a second opportunity to basically get their academic situations together and hopefully get onto a college campus. And we feel very blessed and fortunate to have this contribution made, which is our first contribution from a corporation. And so we're real excited about that. And we know that we're doing some great work here in terms of providing a platform for these student athletes to have opportunities to come in and address whatever academic issues they may have, whether it's core GPA or test scores, that they're able to address those, and then get an opportunity to get onto a college campus. And we just blessed that corporation like Morgan Stanley believe in what we're doing, and and they made a contribution of $10,000 to show that they believe in what we're doing. And I want to take this time out to challenge all the corporations across the metro Atlanta area: Coca-Cola, Chick-fil-A, Pepsi-Cola, Walmart, Targets, everybody to take a look at what we're doing here in terms of making a difference, in these kids' lives, and giving them a platform to where they can continue to develop and mature as young men, and focus on their academics, and get those academics in a situation to where they can become qualified college students, and continue to use this platform to impact them academically. And we want to challenge all those other couple corporations to basically look at our program and help us come up with the necessary resources in order to keep this program going and keep it, make it sustainable.
I appreciate you giving Morgan Stanley those type of accolades, Coach Carson. And I just want our audience to know one thing about Morgan Stanley. They're one of the most preeminent financial advisors in the United States, if not the world. But to say the least, that Morgan Stanley being one of the most well-respected financial organizations in the world to come into an organizational program like Georgia Prep and to show that their due diligence and doing the research and seeing the body of work that you are putting in to try to help these kids who, in a lot of cases, we say second chance, but it may be their last chance, Coach Carson, their last chance to get an opportunity to display their skills, to get their academics together, to move on to that next level in order to get a college degree, to be productive citizens in society. But Coach Carson, I just want to say, I know Morgan Stanley is the first and you have challenged others, but what does this really mean to you, Coach Carson, saying that a company like Morgan Stanley, a billion-dollar company who reaches out and say, you know what, we believe in your dream, we believe in your idea that now you have turned into a reality. What does this really mean to you, Coach Carson? What can you do with a donation like this?
Well, I mean, we can do, plenty of things with this type of sizable donation, man. I mean, even last week for us to take a trip to Virginia, it was almost $14,000 for that particular trip. And so to get a $10,000 check, that's basically going, we got $3,000 for the stadium rental for a home game this weekend. So that's going to be able to help take care of that. And it's going to be able to help continue to feed these kids here, within our program. I mean, we're spending $6,000 to $7,000 a month, just to feed these kids. And, so it means a lot. And, and we just, again, man, we're very blessed and we're very fortunate, to be here and to have, a company like Morgan Stanley to put a stamp on what we're doing. I mean, it's a blessing come true, man. And, and we just excited about it. And we hope that this is the start of, something special to where, we can turn this into an annual, type of deal to where they're making a contribution on an annual basis. And, and again, we want to challenge all the other major corporations that has a corporation office in the state of Georgia, in Atlanta, or even for that matter across the country, because our kids come from all across the country. They make up at least 25 states across the country.
Sure.
And, so, your dollars will be well spent, in terms of making a contribution to this program, in terms of helping us with, travel, meals on the road, hotel costs, equipment, footballs, books,
Sure.
ACT prep stuff, all the things that we need, to impact a child's life here in this program. Your contribution, will help us go a long way in bringing that to a reality.
And a lot of people really don't recognize, Coach Carson, that you have kept this program extremely affordable for these parents who are pretty much totally responsible for these kids. I mean, every once in a while we may find a kid that come into the program that don't even have parents to help them, that they got to do all of the financial aid paperwork, they got to do all of the admissions paperwork totally on their own because this child is so hungry to get the necessary skills, not only on the football field or on the basketball court, but to get the necessary skills in a classroom to help them to get to that next level, which is to get into college. But Coach Carson, I mean, clearly this program is running purely on financial aid, and its contributions outside of the financial aid that helps to really move this program along, and we're giving these kids are first-class experience. And as you mentioned, last week, the kids went up to play one of the top schools in the country, in Fork Union. Unfortunately, we lost the game by 1 point. But you're talking about a very exciting game that if our audience want to look at, they can go to YouTube and look at the Georgia Prep Sports Channel and look at that game and see for yourself the quality of kids that are coming through this program. But let's just talk about the past 2 weeks, Coach Carson, with little to no resources, what you did. That is to say, you got one school to come in and give these kids 15 offers. You got 15 offers in 1 week. You come back the next week, you got 8 more offers. So, you know, if you do the math, that's 23 offers, and the season hasn't even ended yet. And you got 23 offers, and you got other big-time schools that are looking at this program. For example, you got Purdue looking at this program, Coach Carson. You got Louisville looking at this program, Coach Carson. I mean, you got some top-notch schools that are looking at this program to see whether or not that there is a kid or two on our program or on this team this year that can help to enhance their school. And you've already had a kid to commit to Louisville. You've already had a kid to commit to Kansas. You talking big-time programs, Coach Carson, that you are having to look at these student athletes. So, I mean, Coach Carson, what is it that you would like these corporations to know? I mean, we know that you appreciate them considering the program, but if I'm a corporation and I want to make a donation, but one of the things I want to do, I want to come out and visit your program. I want to see this with my own eye. Mm-hmm. Who do they need to contact? What is the hours of operation for them to get here and see this with their own eyes?
Well, I mean, the building itself is open really 24 hours. I mean, we're basically a boarding school, private boarding school here in DeKalb County, 5271 Snapfinger Woods Drive, Decatur, Georgia. And, you know, you can contact me directly at 678-663-7514. You know, or you can contact Coach Tate, you know, our athletic director. But, you know, the biggest thing, you know, with our program, and if you look and see our body of work over the last 3 years, you would find out that, you know, we've been able to place, you know, 87% of our student athletes on college campus, you know, across the country over the last 3 years. And, you know, that equates to, you know, really 151 student athletes, you know, out of about 180-something students. You know, but that's, you know, just a small tip of what we do. You know, we're basically, you know, bringing these student athletes in here and basically, you know, training them as to how they should be in society. You know, teaching them the necessary skills that they need to be a productive citizen. Most of these kids that's coming into our program, you know, without this opportunity, you know, there's really no telling where they will be, you know, at this particular stage of their lives. But, you know, you guys can help us to continue to give these kids an opportunity to where they have this platform to come in and basically mature a little bit more, you know, during this development. You will allow us to continue to provide, you know, the leadership component that we provide with these student athletes, the mentoring program that we provide, the ACT prep program that we provide, and of course being able to house and feed these kids here on our campus, you know, 3 meals a day, you know, 5 days a week, you know, 2 meals on Saturdays and Sundays. You know, your resources will aid us tremendously in terms of being able to continue, you know, this program at the level that we're doing it. And, you know, we want this experience to be a first-class experience for these student athletes here. We try to, you know, create an environment to where, you know, it's similar to a college campus environment, to where we're providing the necessary structure for them, you know, so that they will know that, you know, once they get on a college campus, what the expectation is from a football program, and being a student within that football program, you know, what's expected from you. And we run our programs, you know, really like a college program. So there's no guesswork in there as to what the expectation is and what the expectation would be for them once they get onto that college campus. And, you know, and again, you know, we need all the resources that we can get, you know. So if you're listening and you're watching this video, go to our website, georgiaprepsportsacademy.org, and make a contribution to our program. You know, if you care about kids and you want to impact kids' lives and you want to help keep them off the street, keep them out of the penal system, you know, do something positive here and make a contribution to Georgia Prep Sports Academy.
And I just want to say again, we realize that this is the first major donation by a corporate sponsor. And as Coach Carson indicated earlier of his appreciation, we all appreciate those guys. And you said Walter and who else was
Graham Roberts and Jason Pace, and also Drew Hawkins. I mean, Drew is out of Washington, D.C., but Drew was very instrumental, you know, in getting this process done for us as well. And so, you know, I want to definitely, you know, shout out to Drew and thank you, you know, for your due diligence in terms of seeing this thing through. And our local guys here, of course, is Graham Roberts, Jason Pace, and Walter Siff.
well, certainly, hold on, I can edit out. I just want to make sure that that light situation we got going on does not cause us. Coach Carson, I realized that you had mentioned Walter in the beginning, but there were some others that I want to make sure get proper credit as well with Morgan Stanley. And who were those other guys as well?
You got Drew Hawkins, who's basically operating out of their D.C. office, and Drew is actually the person that is in charge of their sports entertainment division at Morgan Stanley. And Walter Siff and Graham Roberts and Jason Pace pretty much heads up the Atlanta office, you know, within that capacity. And so, you know, those guys have been great, man. It was great hanging out with them, you know, doing the Senior Bowl. And, you know, Walt and I have been knowing each other for a few years now, and just understanding, you know, what it is he do, and you know, me being involved with, you know, student athletes. And, you know, we always want to put the right people in front of our student athletes, you know, to basically help them grow into young men. And, you know, and what they do at Morgan Stanley, you know, particularly with their financial literacy program in terms of educating these student athletes about finances, is truly amazing. And, I wouldn't know of any other firm that do what they do, and impact the number of athletes or student athletes that they impact. And, again, I just want to say thank you to you guys and to Morgan Stanley, for making this contribution to our program. It's much needed, and hopefully we can continue, the relationship to where this becomes an annual contribution. And hopefully, you guys are able to recommend and refer some other people there within the financial realm to basically look at our program and make a financial contribution to our program. Because basically what we're doing here at Georgia Prep, in my opinion, we're saving young men's lives, and we need folks like you to partner with us in order for us to be able to continue, to do that.
Well, there's no doubt that this type of contribution from Morgan Stanley will be seen immediately. I mean, this is not something that we take lightly here at Georgia Prep Sports Academy. We recognize that some people get a delayed response and evidence as to their type of contribution. Well, this is something you will see right away at Georgia Prep, because we have an upcoming game that's coming up. We have a studio production that we use in order to prepare our kids for that next level. There's all type of needs that are going on in our program that your contribution will help us immensely here at Georgia Prep Sports Academy. And as Coach Carson said, we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Anyone from Morgan Stanley is invited to visit the program. Anyone is invited to come down and to help us with their labor from Morgan Stanley. You can come in, you can talk to our guys, you can help us in the classroom. We're always looking for volunteers because we have English classes, we got math classes, we got science classes. So it's always a pleasure to have someone to come in. You can help us to serve and prepare the food. We have someone in the kitchen, but it's always a great compliment to get parents and other outsiders to come in and help us to serve the food. And certainly feel free to come out on the football field, Walter. We'd be more than happy to have you to come out on the football field and help us to coach the kids, as well as bring some of your friends who will be a part of our program that helps to develop these young men into that manhood that they need as they make the transition out of our program and into college and, of course, into the real world. So maybe there's an individual one day that will be giving his resume to your company and say that, hey, I came through the Georgia Prep Sports Academy program, and that's what inspired me to want to work in the financial market. So we really appreciate it. Certainly on front of the football is, of course, a copy of that check. And Coach Carson, what I'll do on behalf of Morgan Stanley is I will make sure that I deliver this check to you, Coach Carson.
Right.
This is your check, Coach
Yes,
Carson,
sir.
and certainly he really appreciates. So thank the entire corporation of Morgan Stanley for your help and your contribution, because certainly it doesn't stop there, and we appreciate everything. This is, Coach Carson and Tyrone Tate here at the Georgia Prep Sports Academy sharing our appreciation, and certainly you can look at the Georgia Prep Sports Academy program online at www.gpsalliance.org. You can also go to YouTube, and you can see some of the past games And also, as you're seeing now, the video, you can have your other coworkers to go on to YouTube and watch this video to show our appreciation for what you have done for us. Thank you so much. And Coach Carson, anything you'd like to say in parting words?
Yeah, you know, again, we just want to thank the people over at Morgan Stanley, you know, for the contribution. And we also want to, you know, challenge all the other corporations here in the state of Georgia, you know, to get behind Georgia Prep Sports Academy, you know, make a contribution. You know, it can be small, it can be big, but whatever's on your heart, you know, just make a contribution to our program so that we're able to sustain ourselves and continue to deliver this program to the many student athletes across the country that has a need, you know, and need this platform in order to get onto a college landscape. So again, go to our website, GeorgiaPrepSportsAcademy.org, and click on the donate button and make a contribution. And also, you know, all our Facebook family and friends, you know, if you see this video and you want to get involved with our program, feel free to contact us at 678-663-7514. But also, we want you guys to make a contribution. We got over 5,000 likes on our Facebook page. And just think, if everybody that like our Facebook page, you know, even if you made a $1 contribution, that's $5,000 that could help our program. Okay, so feel free to log into our website and help us change the lives of our young people. Give them an opportunity, you know, to get into a college program.
And don't think that because Coach Carson said GeorgiaPrepSportsAcademy.org or me saying GPSALions.org are two separate websites. It's all the same. We realize that some people don't mind typing and others do. And as Coach Carson said, you can go to the YouTube channel. You can also go to our Facebook page. And you also can Twitter us. We have a Twitter page. So the entire social atmosphere is covered by Georgia Prep Sports Academy, and you can get involved with us. And trust me, we appreciate referrals as well. If you know of a corporation that might be interested in getting involved with Georgia Prep Sports Academy, send that information, as Coach Carson said, to him. You can send it to Coach Carson, you know, through the website. You can get on the internet and certainly make contact with me, Coach Tate. Although I'm the athletic director, I find myself coaching as well. Coach Carson, all of our emails, all of our profiles, everything you want to know about Georgia Prep Sports Academy is there. We appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this has been a wonderful day here at Georgia Prep Sports Academy, here with Coach Carson and the financial contribution that Morgan Stanley has made to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time.
And it's one other thing that I failed to mention. Your contribution is tax deductible. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so you can write your contribution off. Thank you.
Thanks very much.